Get ready to get ready. Coming to you live from the MFG studios in the heart of America's summer golf capital. We help you play better golf. It's time to get your game on and take it deep. This is the Mike Fay Golf Show. Here's your host, Mike Fay.
Well, good evening, everyone, here live from America's Summer Golf Capital. My name is Mike Fay. I'm the Director of Player Performance here at the Boyne Golf Academy, and I am very excited to introduce you to our coaches tonight. You guys all know him. He's world famous, Mr. Brent Davis. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Mike. How are you? Good to see you. It's nice to be here, as always. Blue skies back again down here, which is good. It's been pretty ordinary with the weather, but it's turning out nice. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm an Australian PGA professional who coaches out of the PGA Center for Learning and Performance here at Sandhurst in sunny Melbourne.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being on tonight, Brent. And tonight we have a very special guest, Mr. Scott Williams. How you doing, Scott?
Good, thank you, Mike. So I'll introduce myself. I'm an exercise physiologist. I work at the PGA Center for Learning Performance with Brent. And my job is to basically do the physical preparation for competitive golfers of all levels. Trained my first tour player in 2001 and just love the pursuit of trying to work out this complicated game of ours and how I can help people's bodies work better for it.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. Well, we're going to talk to you a whole bunch here in a second. All about that.
Just before you get started, Mike,
I had all the answers, so it's fine.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing, right, Brent?
Yes, that sounds good. Now, don't get too far. I am so happy that for the first time there's actually more Australians on this cast than Yanks and Canadians.
Yes, so it is. First time ever, right?
Very, very happy that there's some proper Australians on this podcast this week.
So call me a proper Australian.
That's awesome. It's good stuff.
I'm very excited you're here, Scott. Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks, mate. It's good to be here.
Yes, we have Mr. Hellman, who is away traveling, as well as Mr. Costello. So we hope you guys are traveling safe and sound and all that good stuff. But tonight's show must go on, right, Brent?
Sounds good to me. Let's get into it.
All right. Well, big day today in golf. Got Rory going nuts on the golf course. Think of that, Brent.
Unbelievable. How do you get out there and be thereabouts in the tournament and then go and shoot 61? You just give no one else any other chance. It's scary to come out and shoot that kind of number.
He had shot at 58 too, didn't he?
It was he just made birdie after birdie after birdie. Like he almost eagled the first hole, almost holed out for two on the first hole to start the round off, and just kept going and going and going. It was just to finish with two bogeys in the last three holes and still shoot 61 is pretty impressive golf.
It is. Those of you guys that are watching tonight on Periscope, our feed is down right now on Facebook and YouTube, so join us here if you're watching it on the replay. We want to know, what was your favorite shot that Rory hit today? It was fantastic golf. Every single hole, don't you think, guys?
Yeah, just the guys.
Absolutely.
This guy's finding his form coming into the US Open, which is good as well. So hopefully he keeps it going. But it's always good to see the top players play so well.
You know, I'm kind of disappointed. Our friend from Canada can't talk about the Canadian Open, you know?
Oh, yeah, the other gentleman's a Canadian, isn't he?
He is.
Wow. Should have got the inside word.
Stretch, isn't it? Gentleman's stretch.
We seem nice from what I've seen.
No,
he won those seven shots. That's incredible.
I know.
Is he going to go in favourite
this
week?
I don't know. We should get into U.S. Open talk, don't you think?
Get into the Pebble Beach, see who's going to play well over there.
You know, one of the things at Pebble Beach is that, you know, you don't have to bomb at 9 million miles to win. So brings a lot of people into the action.
Got to control it around that golf course, especially if the wind blows.
It's going to be windy at some point.
It always is around that part of the world, but hopefully that brings a few of the Australians into the fray. They play under those conditions quite often, so hopefully that'll bring them into consideration.
Especially the Victorians. Wind is created basically where Brent and I work, Sandhurst, also known as Windhurst. And there is a local gentleman from there that's going to go right this week, Brent.
Yeah, we'll see how they go. We'll just see how we go. We'll do our tips later on. Just give a bit more chance because I'm not going to do a Jason Hellman and just pick the favourite. I'm going to pick someone outside the box just a little bit. So we'll talk about that. But have you had the pleasure of playing Pebble Beach, Mike?
I have. It's fantastic.
Oh, I hate you even more now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's on the bucket list.
I'll tell you what. The first 7 holes over there at Spyglass are harder than some of the Pebble Beach holes, I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so long. I don't hit it very far.
It's a long course.
It was so at sea level and so wet when I played it. I was like, oh no.
A lot of long irons in.
Yeah, but the day that I was at Pebble, it was really nice. So, and it was drier, and my ball actually bounced when it hit the ground, which was nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had some lumber in some of them greens at Spyglass Hill. It's like, oh man.
Spyglass is hard work, but just spectacular views all the way around that
beautiful.
area.
Oh yeah, I mean everywhere. I mean I grew up there, and then grew up going there on a couple of vacations when I was really little, and then really appreciated when I was out of college and got to go play over there, and how pretty the whole drive is, and the 17-mile drive, and Big Sur, and all those things, and remembering how my mom loved to go shopping in Carmel. And these are all things that they don't really talk about too much, but the whole entire area is just gorgeous there. It really is. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And then you've got, the other golf courses there as well in the area. Monterey Peninsula Country Club. You've got, let's see, what's it called here? You've got the Bayonet and Black Horse. Very interesting golf courses. Very narrow, and trees are huge, and the ground is like black dirt. Anything would grow in it. Awesome over there at Black Horse and Bayonet. Very cool. Where they held the PGA National Championship for here was over there. Very cool. So that there's some awesome golf courses, not just at Pebble Beach, but just all throughout that area.
Is that like a holiday destination sort of region?
Yep.
Yep. Coastal.
Yep. And it's a very neat place, very, very unique in the world over there. Absolutely.
A friend of mine played Pebble Beach, and apparently the caddies help a bit.
They do.
Having a caddy makes a big difference around that track.
Especially with the greens. The greens are tough to read if you've never been there, knowing what's going on. Do we have Mr. Davis with us still? I don't know.
I can see him.
With us.
Oh, he's holding the same facial expression for a while.
Yeah, he was.
That's never a good sign.
No, yeah.
He's frozen.
He was frozen. We're gonna see if he's there still.
I got pretty good.
But yeah, Pebble is something else. I love that place. One of my favorite places in the world. Top 5 place in the world to go.
Is the par 3 down to the water, is that actually the most sort of spectacular hole, or the one over along the cliff line, which is the one when you actually play it?
I'll tell you,
that stands out.
I think all of them are.
Yeah.
I mean, playing 18 coming in.
Oh, of course.
So cool.
Aim at the tree.
It's like, you try and rip it off the tree if you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there playing it, right? So I wasn't playing for a score that day. I was there to see it.
Yeah, for sure. Almost want to hit 2 balls off every tee.
those of you that are online live with us, if you guys have ever played Pebble Beach, let us know. Give us a little comment, yes or no, in there. And I want to talk about the ice plants. They have these plants called ice plants there, in and around the greens, and they're in the sand. And I mean, if you
Hard to hit out of.
Yeah, the balls just kind of fall when you hit. It's like your ball was there and now it's not.
So take a drop out of the ice plants.
Mm-hmm. No, you hit it, but it's weird.
Hit it?
Sure, you can
They're
hit
not
it.
protected.
Yeah, contact's kind of tough out of an ice plant, I think.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, very interesting. All these little plants.
So the 18th hole, the breeze has got to be off the left, doesn't it? So if I hit a natural draw. Not always?
Not always. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, not always.
You're back, Brent. We've swapped spots.
You can't just kick me off the call just because I've said something I didn't agree with.
The things we said about you when you were off.
I think Hellman did it.
You won't want to watch this one back.
Hellman did it.
Find the recording. I just think that was just nasty. Just because there was 2 Australians on this time, Mike, it's not good enough.
You were frozen pizza for a while.
You were.
Just lost everything. So
yeah. Well, we were just talking about Pebble Beach and the area around there, and we just talked about ice plants and how difficult it is to hit a golf ball out of an ice plant.
Never heard of an ice plant either.
Yeah, look it up. Any of you guys have hit balls out of ice plants? Let us know.
Is it as bad as tea tree in Melbourne?
Well, it's weird. It's kind of like you hit it, but the ball kind of moves when you hit.
It's a little shrub on the ground, yeah?
Yeah.
It sounds like a little shrub.
It kind of sits up, but it's not, and then you go to hit it, and it moves, and it's like it was there, and there it wasn't. Contact's kind of difficult out of ice plants. Very weird.
So it sits in the waist.
In the waist areas.
Area?
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, a little fun fact about the Miami.
Pretty cool.
I'll look out for that. The caddy will tell me that.
Like I was saying, Brent, one of my favorite places in the world. It's unbelievable. Very cool place. Very unique place.
Yeah, it's on our list, Brent.
It is on our list. There's areas like Hellman's off playing Highland at the moment, so he's going to see some good golf courses as well. And obviously the peninsula there where Pebble Beach is pretty awesome golf destination. Then you've got the Sandbelt down here and other areas that are just known for amazing golf courses and trips like
New
that.
New Zealand's got a few as well. Some spectacular ones, Cape Kidnappers and Michael Hill, and
there's some cool stuff floating around.
Absolutely.
The one of like I was saying, I think that maybe let's get it. Should we do our picks, you think?
Yeah, let's do our picks.
Okay.
I've done my research. I've been researching.
You knew this was going to happen, huh?
Oh dear.
Well, I was a little underprepared, but now that with all the talk, I want to go early. Now, I really hope that this bloke's playing. I tried to check the actual tee times to see the list. But based on everything you've said, short course, windy, position, the comeback kid, Graham McDowell, who disappeared for years, and he's back. He's run top 10 this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think some of these European players might have half a chance.
There's the pick.
Okay.
Rory's mate.
We've got Graham apparently has been doing some work with sports like Carl Morris now.
Carl's good.
Carl's coming on and doing a webinar for our guys in a couple of weeks' time. So
he's very entertaining.
We'll get a bit of inside information. Now I'm sticking with my Australian theme as I do most of these tips. So
he does. He only picks the homeland guys, and that's
Aussies.
That's fine.
We have to go a fair way down the list.
No, Mr. Adam Scott will be right up there this time. He's playing well, and the putter seems to be firing up at the right time. So, and my dark horse, if you want a bit of value, it's Mr. Marcus Fraser. Okay. So he's gone through pre-qualifying. He's a Cora boy from up in my local area, and he's got an Australian rules footballer on the bag this week. So he might be able to throw a few hip and shoulders into the other players on the way around. That might even out the field a bit. So there's my two picks: Adam Scott and Marcus Fraser.
Okay, I like that one. Well,
Can't argue with that.
This week I am going with Jordan Spieth because he found his putter, and I think he can do well there. And my second pick will be Phil Mickelson, just because I love how much fun he's having on social media.
He's been really cool lately, putting out those little clips and stuff. So
yeah, it's been fun, right?
It is good to see.
It is. It's
good.
It's
good value.
I love it. I love what he is doing and the whole bombing it and all that other stuff. I think it's awesome. It's fun. It's fun for everyone, and I know that everyone that's a fan of Phil's appreciates it. That's good.
Really cool.
Very, very cool. Well, we had a little bit of nice weather here in America's summer golf capital. It was about 70 to 80 degrees over the weekend, and now we have hit the rain. And it's going to be raining for the next few days straight, and highs in the 50s and 60s. So we are getting off to a very slow start. It's stopped being so cold here, and we got outside, started teaching golf, and as you can tell by the color of my face, I've been outside all day teaching golfing for the last week, you guys, and thank you so much, all of you coming to see me. And we're probably going to be going inside a few times here next week. Club fitting is going nuts at Boyne. Dave is very busy. Everybody's excited about the season, getting their new stuff. And that's been fun. All my players getting fit into what they need. And junior golf is going on. We'll get into what has happened later on and what we're talking about locally. Okay, tonight, Mr. Williams, you are on the stage, sir. We're going to chat.
Pressure's on.
Pressure
Exit
is
stage
on.
left.
That's right. The pressure is on, my friend.
Oh, hit me, boys.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? We're going to talk to you. The question that has been proposed to me a lot is, what is one really good thing that you could do for your body that would help a lot of different things with the golf swing? What is one exercise that you think people need to do more of?
Yes, I mean, look, it's always easy as a practitioner to give you the fob off here, the fend off, and say that it's always individual. But in reality, there are a few key things that just present themselves over and over again, which I'm sure you two gentlemen have seen many, many times. And one of the most common issues with all human beings, and that given that golfers are mostly human, is weak glutes. So if the glutes get weak, the hips will tend to slide. And if the hips tend to slide, the lower back muscles have to work really hard. And over time, this causes pain and dysfunction. But certainly from a short-term point of view, it's not what most coaches would like to see in the swing, is those sliding hips. So strengthening your glutes, particularly using actually, I do have one in the other room, but I won't exit now. Little rubber bands that go around your knees. We call them knee bands. There's all sorts of different brands that you can get of them, but you stick them around your knees, and you can do all sorts of variations of bridges where you lie on your back and you lift your hips up, strengthen the glutes, roll the spine, practicing basically the movement that you need through impact. Or you can stand up and you can stomp around the room like a crab. And if you're really into it, you can then drop the knee band down to your ankles and provide a bit of extra leverage and a bit more resistance. So the knee band is particularly important because often when we're working in the gym or just doing any kind of basic workout, if we're doing things like squats, deadlifts, and even bridges, we're working our glute max, which is the biggest muscle in our backside, but we're working it in a straight up and down fashion or back and forth, whereas golf is more of a lateral rotational movement. So it's really nice to hit the outside of your backside muscles, the side of the hips, in order to try and connect the brain to some of those weaker muscles so that you can then use them to resist the ground throughout your swing, actually.
No, I love that. I think that's fantastic. One of the things that I've seen early on in the season here getting going is that lack of mobility, Scott, in players. We start right off the gate sliding, and then on our downswing, we tilt to the right too much and crunch the crap out of our lower right side of our back, and our back hurts, and then all of a sudden it's like, I can't play golf.
Yep.
And that's terrible.
So there's
Early in the season problem here. All of a sudden, I've seen about 5 players with that same thing.
The crunch factor, they call that. You've actually aptly named it, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before. The crunch factor. So it is literally that right side, for a right-handed golfer, the right side of the lower back, the research tells us that is the number one pain destination in a golfer. And it's for exactly the reason that you just described. So, and I'd like to see what you guys think about this, because I reckon there's 3 causes. There's the mobility issue. Perhaps they're moving through the hips because they don't have enough mobility through their spine or other areas. Perhaps it's a weakness through the glutes that's allowing that slide. Or sometimes perhaps, and this is where a coach can obviously be worth their weight in gold, it could just be a concept thing or an awareness thing. And as soon as they slide, and I'm going to get up here, as soon as they slide and tilt this way in the backswing, it's quite natural for them to then aggressively tilt back the other way down to impact. So I kind of think there's a bit of a, I always talk about software and hardware in the body. So the software being the brain, the nervous system, which is either going to be conceptual or simply habitual. And then there's the hardware, which is, are these muscles actually strong enough to hold these forces? Are the joints actually mobile enough to provide a different option? So my job in my area of training golfers is to basically create a body that's more coachable for golf, so that, they're more of a clean slate, so that, when they're in the hands of you two gentlemen, you can give them some concepts, give them some feels, and they can do it.
Now, hang on. I thought your job was to cause pain. I've heard these guys, screaming down in the centre, and
there's good pain and bad pain, Brent.
Oh, I just assumed your job was to cause pain.
There's missing a 2-footer, which is bad pain, and then there's everything else, which is good pain.
Yeah. So
in the gym.
What would be the biggest misconception you see about golf fitness out there?
The biggest misconception?
It's all about doing flexibility training, or it's all about doing something else, or... I'll tell you something really interesting. I don't know if did I mention this to you, Brent? So I'm doing my PhD in this area. So I've done a whole, and I've got here's all my results here. So if you can zoom in on them, you'll have all my answers. And basically what I did, I took 146 golfers through 90 physical tests and 70 technical tests. Now, it sounds like a lot, but TrackMan spits out 35 on its own, right? So there's 35 technical measurements that came out. And with the physical stuff, there was right side and left side, and so it actually adds up pretty quickly. And some of the measurements were able to get multiple things. But what I was able to do is work out which things are most highly correlated with handicap as a starting point. So I looked at all those 75 technical measurements, and typical things that you might expect, like how far their driver goes, how far it goes in with a carry, how maximum height of driver ball speed, driver club head speed. All these things were highly correlated with handicap. So then what I did, I had a look at the next thing and went, well, what are the physical correlates with those technical aspects? So what things physically underpin those key aspects of golf performance? No flexibility measurement came anywhere near performance. It was really quite alarming, to the point where I know I've got to keep looking, but everything else has jumped off the page in terms of leg power, core power, upper body power, grip strength. All of these measurements are really highly correlated with all of these technical measurements and handicap itself. But then none of the flexibility measurements had any correlation. It was really, I'm still disturbed, you can tell. But where I think they are important is injury prevention.
and to make sure that pain isn't. And mind you, I've only looked at handicaps, so there's going to be other factors involved. But I still think that range of motion is going to be an individual thing. And so if you do have a limitation, you do need to address it, and it will help you prevent pain, and it will make your body a bit more coachable. But generally speaking, if you have reasonable flexibility, you possibly need to look elsewhere. So that's where we're looking there. So most people think that static stretching before golf is a must-have. There's been a couple of studies that have showed that actually reduces performance. It reduces accuracy and driver distance. Whereas dynamic warm-ups, just generally moving the body and getting things flowing, tends to help and actually increases performance. So I would say the greatest misconception is that flexibility is going to be the panacea to all your golfing problems, and that it's a good way to warm up, when in a sense it's not.
Cool. Very, very interesting stuff. We're going to have you on again when you get done to let us know, because I think it's like, bat on the ball, right? Who can put the bat on the ball better? And, as far as performance go to handicap, we see guys out there that pound it off the tee that still shoot 100 because they hit it everywhere. And golf necessarily is not based upon handicap and fitness level, but at the same time, we know that if you are not in good shape, you have that prone to injury, and guess what happens, right, Brent? You don't play golfing.
That's it. You end up dropping off there. Now, just one more question for you, Scotty, just quickly. With the
I have something to add to that too, by the way, Mike. We'll go back to that in a sec. Sorry, Brent.
No, you're right. I know I came
across
this issue big time in Taiwan and China when I was over there, and you see it a whole lot in China, in junior golfers. So how do you deal with those players that are hypermobile, that have that extra bit of flexibility that can cause swing problems as well?
Yeah, so I think that regardless of people's range of motion, learning how to stabilise, utilise your feet through the ground, actually engage your hip musculature, your core musculature, your scapular musculature is actually a skill. It's actually a skill. So if I see someone who's overswinging it, in fact, if you guys may have experienced this yourself, I'm sure you have. If you see someone overswinging it and you were to actually then take their shoes off and watch them swing in bare feet, what you might notice, we saw this just the other day with one of our really good golfers through our PGA program, is that their feet are potentially rolling and not actually gripping the floor at all. Now, if that's happening, you're not going to be able to access all the muscles that connect to your foot and ankle, which is most of them, in order to create lateral stability and then be able to actually rotate. So I sometimes think it's just once we teach them how to stabilise their joints properly, then the residual after that with these hypermobile Asian kids, for example, we might need to then tension things up a bit and actually get them stronger through their core. Basically, those who are hypermobile, and I'm sort of almost in that category myself, we can't do enough stability training. The more we do, the better it is. We tend to get control of our joints. So, but I mean, you're not going to get much different between. You're not going to get two more different golfers than an over 60 bloke versus an Asian teenager. They're very different, aren't they? Even from your point of view, when you get them on the tee, you must see some different things from those two cohorts.
Yeah, definitely. Even a 44-year-old bloke he can't swing anymore. So
I'm swinging better than me.
Certainly lose that flexibility and that range of motion. But I think it's important to be aware of the areas that you need to work on, as opposed to just having a one-size-fits-all type program.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I think without being too much of a purist, I think probably you can cover off the best 70% with most people, with lateral stability, teaching them how to use their joints properly, strengthening the glutes, strengthening the core, making sure that they've got reasonable range of motion through the joints that they need. That's kind of 70%. And then the other 30% is going to be individual. And as Mike sort of started off here, if it's pain related, you can't, it's a bit of a showstopper, isn't it? We've kind of got to stop the whole program and deal with that first. So really that extra 30% in terms of individualizing, for me, the greatest priority there is probably preventing injury, particularly if someone has had an injury before or pain that stopped them playing golf. I've kind of always got one eyeball on that aspect for that player and the other eyeball on improving performance and pushing ahead.
Yeah, it's so important to keep people playing golf at the same time as they're progressing their body and their fitness and all that kind of stuff. Because as soon as that stops, that's not good, right? And
not good. Not good for anyone.
No. But no, very, very good conversation about all this stuff. Learned a lot today. Thank you so much, Scott, for coming on, talking about this kind of things, and we're going to have you on a bunch. This is great because it's important.
I love it, mate.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Mr. Davis.
Well, I just about covered most of the things I wanted to talk about, but I did want to bring up. I just want Scotty just quickly to cover off on the sweat study. I brought it up a couple of times in the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I might have butchered the terminology and the talk about it a little bit. So I just wanted the expert to come in and just go over the results that you guys found by doing that sweat study.
Yeah, so we had 6 players. I'm not sure how much background you gave on it, but I'll just give it a little nutshell here. We had 6 players that we basically tested their urine, and we got them to wear sweat patches on their forehead and on their arms, and we got them to play a round of golf, and then we remeasured everything afterwards. And that allowed us to determine how hydrated the player was before they even started their round, which was quite interesting because 1 or 2 of the 6, I think 2 of them were well hydrated, 2 of them were mildly dehydrated, and one of them in particular was very dehydrated just to begin as his standard normal status, which wasn't good. Then from that, we then determined how much sweat they lost during the round and how much salt they lost as part of that, so how concentrated their sweat was. And it's amazing that it varies by at least 60% in terms of how much sweat you lose, but also how much salt you lose. So you could lose a lot of sweat and not much salt, or a lot of sweat and a lot of salt, or not much of either. And therefore, the hydration plan, which was individualised for each player that they got out of it, which is the sweetener for them, I've just got 3 of the more sort of extremes here. So, for example, one player, this is partly to do with their body weight, but mostly to do with their sweat loss and how dehydrated they were to begin. One player had to have 574 mils of water per hour as their strategy on course. So basically you guys talk in ounces, don't you? Mm-hmm. Do you talk in ounces? I think it's about 20 ounces. It's about 20 ounces of fluid per hour that they required. I did my little converter before in preparation.
So just over a can of Coke, guys. Just over a can of Coke. Probably 2?
Almost 2.
Okay.
Almost 2. Yeah, 1 3/4 cans of Coke, but water, please.
Water, right. That big, that much, yeah.
That much, filled with water.
Yeah.
And filled with 230 milligrams of salt, of sodium. So that was sort of the top end.
So how much is 230 milligrams of salt, do you think?
How much is that?
Yeah.
In teaspoons?
Yeah.
I don't know. I should find out. We give them little sachets. I think it's roughly, but see, I don't know how big the sachets are. They're it's through Gatorade, I think, this mob. 3.5 sachets would be 3.5. Oh, yeah, it's 3.5 sachets, which is they're probably 10-gram sachets.
Wow.
Yeah, so perhaps 20 grams of salt. It's quite a lot.
That's a lot, right?
It's heaps.
Yeah.
It's heaps. Yeah, like... don't do it when you're not sweating, but when you are sweating, this is what prevents cramps.
That's amazing, right?
And the other thing, and the reason we did this, I should wind back a little bit. There was a good study done, I think it was in 2012, and they found that 1% dehydration, which I'm 80 kilograms, right? So if I lose 0.8 of a kilogram, so roughly, 1.5 pounds, I am going to have less ability to concentrate. I'm going to have less ability to pick up texture in the grass. I'm going to lose a little bit of my depth perception, so my ability to tell how far a target is. It was done on golfers. And if I get to 2%, which is not that much, like these guys lose that easily on a warm day coming into your summer over there. If I lose 2%, I lose all of that stuff, but I also, my 7-iron loses about 15 metres, and my accuracy, my dispersion increases, my accuracy gets worse. So it's really quite a big deal. And I look at this going, there's a lot of sports that have really gone down this hydration route, obviously, for obvious reasons. I don't feel like golf has really got into this yet. No. Yet we'd all agree that the concentration is important and that consistency is important. So it's quite amazing. There's been one study done on golfers anyway.
That is amazing. I mean, when Brent told us that and told us there really hasn't been a lot of research in this area, I was fascinated. I thought it was really, really cool because, it is so important to everything. Doesn't matter everyday life, right? I mean,
just general health, digestion, everything.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So whereas one of our players, sorry.
And golfers just don't seem to get it. I think even high-performance players don't seem to understand how much of an impact it has. I think because you're walking around the golf course, you aren't sprinting and doing all that kind of stuff you do in other sports. It can be easy to think that it's very easy on the body systems, where it's not. It can be quite hard on the body systems.
Yeah, absolutely. One player that I caddied, my one and only tour caddy experience, I was terrible, absolutely terrible. I caddied for an Australian player called Matt Griffin, and we were in Thailand, and it was 32 degrees most days, but it was 95% humidity. Oh. And it was damn hard work carrying that bag, I'm telling you. And he had so much water in it because he's a diligent rehydrator that it was pretty heavy. Anyway, I survived the week, so I'm okay. But there was one day, because I was measuring his body weight before and after, and we're trying to make sure that in the first 2 days we just used water because he'd never taken electrolytes previously. So we thought, let's just see what he is normally in the practice round. And then when we finally got into the real competition round, we started using electrolytes. And there was one day he managed to actually maintain his hydration status. So at the end of the day, he weighed the same as what he did at the start of the day, which is, you would argue it's close to being actually properly hydrated. 9 litres of fluid he had throughout the day. So if he'd had 6 litres of fluid throughout his day, he would have been 3 kilograms under, which would be about 4% dehydration, which would absolutely affect your performance. And I looked around the field as I was struggling to carry his bag around for 6 days, and I thought, wow, no one else is doing what we're doing. How's this possible? They're playing for, over $1 million.
Yeah. Scary.
Yeah, that is scary. That's scary. You get, think about this for a minute. Just the everyday person, just the golfer that plays golf once a week. How does this affect their general health? Forget about performance-wise, just generally. What do you think?
I get a lot of older clients that I train. I don't just train the young fellas, and so many of them suffer with cramps. Mm-hmm. And I mean that's a red flag right there. And that's not enjoyable to have cramps in the middle of the night that wake you up. So that's kind of like the extreme version. But there's all those other subtle factors like your ability to recover, your mental clarity, your digestive health, your immune system, the way it functions. There's all those other things that make such a difference. We're 60 to 65% water, right, out of the human body, but it's actually saline water. It's salt water. We're 65% salt water. And so drinking water on its own doesn't really do the job. Drinking soft drinks on their own don't really do the job. We sort of need to get this stuff right. It's not that hard to do.
What kind of salt would you recommend people, I don't know, mixing up with water, I guess, right?
Yeah, look, your real kind of rough and ready home DIY, do-it-yourself version is Celtic sea salt. So you can get some I don't know if you get it over there in America.
We do, yeah. I take Celtic sea salt, sure.
There you go. So that's a nice, easy way to do it. The challenge that a lot of the companies that create electrolyte supplements, which I tend to just use, we've got a mob over here called Endura. I don't know if you get it over there, but look, Gatorade do some decent stuff as well. Not necessarily the pre-bottled stuff, but the actual sachets. Because the next art form, if you've drunk a bunch of Celtic sea salt in water, is how do we make it taste any good? So that's where the companies seem to, they've mastered the art of salty orange, I reckon, which is, or salty lemons, which lemon and salt have been combined quite nicely before. So, look, that's probably just making sure that it's actually okay to taste so that you want to keep doing it, because it's got to be done on a regular basis, obviously.
Yeah. Very cool. Great conversation tonight, guys. Scott, good stuff. Thank you, my friend.
Scotty.
Cheers, mate.
I appreciate that. Brent, what do we have going on in the world around there?
Well, we've got a nice game of Australian rules football happening today. So we've got a bit of a, we have the freeze at the G on Queen's birthday. So today's the Queen's birthday, public holiday in Australia. So everyone's got a nice public holiday. And we have the freeze at the G, which is to raise some cash for MMD research. We have celebrities and sports stars sliding down a slide into a ice bath, essentially.
Nice.
So it is a
it's
a really
It's pretty
cool,
fun.
It's a really cool sight, and you see a whole lot of very cold people getting out of that ice
bet.
bath at the end. So
And once you've slid down the slide and gone into the big pool of ice yourself, you get to nominate another person to go in. So it
Then
could be
they
a
have to
friend or
go?
it could be an enemy, and they have to go.
Really?
have to go and do it.
Oh,
So we have to have these things all to raise cash to
That's
try
so
and
cool, though.
to try and fight that awful disease that's floating around. So if you do
good
happen
cause.
to see, you'll probably find the YouTube clip. The freeze at the G is where you'll find it out there. So I'm sure there's a few. There'll be some clips on it over the next few days once it happens today.
Well, check it out for sure. Well, going on in the world around here at Boyne Resorts and Boyne Golf, we've got number of different things. Next week, we are getting ready for Boyne Nike Junior Camp, and the kids are coming to town, guys. And they are excited about golfing from all around the world. So, cool stuff here. And we've got Nike Junior Camp running for about 6 weeks in a row, with a break off during AJGA comes to town here for the week over 4th of July. So excited about that coming up. We had our first Women's Golf Day. We hosted June 4th, was Women's Golf Day here. And
Fantastic.
we had some clinics that went on at three of our facilities, which was neat. Let's see. We had Golfapalooza going on this afternoon. Got it kind of rained out a little bit because we got some rain, right? But the kids got out there hitting some balls and having some fun.
That's great.
That was cool. And then, things you guys have seen us post online about. Drive, chip, and putt training camp has been going really good.
I've seen heaps of that going on there, which is pretty cool to see.
Cool
Kids
stuff.
are out there.
Mm-hmm. Kids are out there practicing, having fun. And next week is our third week, and then we have a last week where we have a simulated competition. And then the week after that is our local qualifier here for it, and it's hosted right here at Boyne Mountain.
Nice.
So that's
Great.
cool
You got
stuff.
heaps going on.
Yeah, we got lots going on. 555 just started. It's a pretty unique program. I'll let you guys know all about it. It runs over 5 weeks. You will learn 5 of the toughest shots in golf and take 5 shots off your score.
Hitting out of ice plants.
Don't have any ice plants here. Don't have any ice plants here. So
What's the toughest shot in golf, Mike?
that people
What's number
ask
one
me,
of those 5?
yeah, people that ask me to do is bunker play.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bunker play is the toughest shot. And then after that, number 2 is always driver. Need to hit my driver better. So working on
That'd be
that.
number 1 for me.
And then they go on
Gotta
from
get rid
there.
of the
So,
yips.
we have the whole schedule on the website there of what's going on every week. But yeah, those are the top two things that people always ask for help in 555 from. So pretty neat stuff. Yeah, lots going on here. Let's
Cool.
see. I will.
Fantastic.
Yeah, always fun stuff going on. Well, I think we're about done. I just want to let you guys know that next Sunday is Father's Day. So we will not be on next Sunday night. So we're going to take Father's Day off. We got a bunch of fathers around here. I want to wish all of you a very happy Father's Day. Get lots of hugs and kisses from the kids because it's really important. So we're going to take next Sunday off. What do you think about that, guys?
I think you've earned it, Mike.
It sounds good to me.
Absolutely. It should be fun. Spend some time with the family and have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Scott, thanks so much for joining us tonight, buddy. It was great having you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome stuff. I don't know. These guys are going to have to fight to get back on the stream.
It was a good show.
Mm-hmm. He was very good.
I think Scotty might have pushed his way in.
Yep.
Use me as needed, gents. I need to make more discoveries to increase my worth. I need to find some more things out.
You were fun. Thank you so much. Mr. Davis, always a pleasure, my friend. I'll be talking to you online for sure. And I want to hear I want to watch those videos of everybody going in the ice. I think that's...
I will find some and I'll tweet them out for you.
All right. Well, guys, you guys have a super week here in America's Summer Golf Capital. I'm going to get back. We got Revolution Golf here in town. Mr. Martin Chuck. You guys will see lots of pictures of me and him this
famous
week. And yes, so my good friend from our New Mexico State days. So we're getting back together, and he's in town here teaching. Aaron Olson is here, and Jim is here, and we're going to have some fun this week. So look for that online. You guys have a super week. Thanks so much for tuning in.